The time went by too quickly with Jocelyn Benson, Michigan Secretary of State. There was so much to ask her about, so much we couldn't get to. So Ruth Johnson's with us now, too. Now she was the Secretary of State, now a state senator, Republican from Holly, on our AT&T line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael Patrick. How are you?
Well, I presume that if I can get 7.5 minutes with Jocelyn Benson, the legislature can have all the time they want with the Secretary of State, right?
She's refused to come before Elections Committee in the Senate that I chair for the last 2 years. I think we got her to come twice. Once I asked for 3 hours so we could ask her questions. She talked for 28 minutes and said her half hour was up. So she's not a good communicator. We find out things by her having press conferences while we're in session in a different town, and she just simply will not show up to committee so that we can get updates and so that we can ask her questions.
And that's what happened in Detroit yesterday then, right? When she said she needs more money. And then kind of surprised everybody when she said she will not this time be mailing out invitations to apply for absentee ballots, which was very controversial in the last presidential election. What was your reaction to that? And she's told me just a few minutes ago probably the same thing you read, is that things are different now. That was different with COVID-19.
Yeah, what was different is she broke laws. She did things that laws didn't allow, and she didn't follow her own administrative rules that have to be followed or changed through a process. So she sent out 7.7 million pre-filled out absentee ballot requests. Yes, I call them invitations to vote. The job was the local clerk's job, who are named some of the best in the country for getting this done, and only to people that want them, only to people that have asked for them or are on a list that they can send to. Out of the ones that she sent, 800,000 went to unqualified voters, not people that are qualified to vote in Michigan. And then she directed the clerks not to verify, even if they were checked in our qualified voter file as not good voters. She didn't take the people off she was supposed to. 177,000 she was supposed to take off as soon as she took office. She didn't do that either. So now she says she's not going to send them again, but she had people check on those on there. You could check to not have it, get it, or get it for a lifetime. And we don't even know that these people are qualified voters because over 800,000 were not. So a lot of people did check that they would like them. And it is the law. You may vote by mail, that's for sure. But the way she did it was not lawful, was not ethical, and then telling the clerks not to even verify, even if we have information that they've moved out of the state. And by the way, we don't have a national system where we take people off like your driver's license, you surrender it, and the new state will give you a new license. So there's a lot of people registered in 2 states.
Well, that was also my next question. Well, actually, they sort of dovetail together. The secretary told us that the courts backed up her decision to send out those invitations, but this time she's going to leave it to the local clerks. Do you disagree?
Well, it's deception. And if she'd come to the committee hearings where we can ask and get straight answers, that would sure be helpful. She had those all ready to go and already at the post office, and she said she didn't know if she was sending them out. They landed the next day after she said she didn't know. So you can't fix something that's already broken, and that's what happened. She did that without the law behind her to do it. She did it to people that aren't qualified. Then she said, don't verify, and she certainly made a mess, and she's caused a lot of people not to have confidence in our elections. We've talked to people that over 9 invitations to vote, pre-filled out absentee ballot requests, went to a house that none of those 9 people lived there. That's not uncommon. It happens 800,000 times that people got invitations to vote that simply are not qualified to vote in Michigan.
The secretary said that they need more time to process the absentee ballots so that they can be quickly counted on Election Day. And I asked her, does that mean opening the envelopes? And she said that means cross-checking signatures. Was it dumb of me to ask that wouldn't that be easier and maybe more accurate if people had to include some sort of ID in the mail-in ballot or a social security number or something like that? And she didn't agree with that.
Well, maybe you should be Secretary of State. That's good common sense.
It just seems so imprecise to match signatures of people who mail. I can't even get my head around how you could possibly do that.
Well, that's because she didn't have the law change, but she didn't require signatures on those applications. She did it herself electronically. She didn't follow the law on that either. So your question was a really good one.
Well, okay, AWOL when it comes to working with the legislature, but she does want more money.
You know, the Secretary of State does not conduct elections. It is the election administrator, and there's 33 people that work for elections in the state of Michigan. I find that to be a tremendous amount of money for 33 people. The money should be getting to the local clerks, and when she got the CARES Act money, the COVID money, half the money she did not spend on the local clerks helping them to not get COVID. She did buy some fast counting machines. She did buy some staplers, but half the money simply went to other things. So it's problematic. She has $16 million right now sitting in the Help America Vote Act that the federal government gave her.
Senator Johnson, thank you very much.